Hakaniemessä ollaan hotelli Strandin edessä. Tuossa hotellissa asuu Brian Setzer. Hello Brian.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
You had a holiday here in Finland. You spent 1 week here.
Yeah. We spent a week in Finland just going out at night, having fun, and driving around in the lakeland, just having a vacation. I live in the California desert, and I said, we got to get out of here, it's too hot.
These gigs, 2 gigs you have here in Helsinki, they're the only gigs in Europe.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why in Finland?
The record company said, would you do some press because you have a new record coming out? I said, okay. And then, people found out about it, Germany and England, and they said, well, would you do press for us? I said, well, you'll have to come to Helsinki because I don't want to go to London. I don't want to go. They said, okay. So they're coming. And then it's just kind of snowballing, and I said, what about if I do a gig just by myself? And they said, fine. And then they booked Tavastia, and that sold out. So they said, well, if we book one more gig, you can bring your band.
Your kind of music, is it like roots music, or how do you call it? Like rock and roll?
I call it rockabilly. Yeah. Even with the big band, it's still like when I write a song, I play guitar and I write a riff, and it's me and the stand-up bass and the drums. So it always comes from that rockabilly part, Sometimes I add the big band and sometimes I don't.
I think that your kind of music, it won't get airplay on radios here in Finland.
No, I know. It won't either in the States. But it sucks. The reason is because I have nothing against all different kinds of music, But I mean, my music has a place on the radio too, not just boy bands, whatever the pop music is. And I know that young people like my music because my son is 16 and he's a surfer in California. And whenever I play the banjo or something like that, or play rockabilly, they always rush down. They go, well, that's so great, play another song on the banjo, So I know that young people like all kinds of music, but the radio only plays one kind, So it's a drag.
If you think about music business, like 15 years ago, was it more open-minded?
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. I mean, it was in the 80s, they played everything, it was us, the Stray Cats, the Clash, Madness, the Pretenders, all different kinds of music. And people could pick what they wanted to hear. It's much more closed now. It's much more about, making money.
Is it more difficult for you to make your own music nowadays?
Well, I'm lucky in that I have a loyal following, and that I can always, now, I can do what I want. But I feel sorry for young bands because they have some record company guy over them telling them what they have to play, and they don't really have too much of a choice. So I'm very lucky that I can do what I want.
I got 2, 4, 6, 8. 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 16 chicks that are just people mine.
I heard that you are a big fan of like guitars and cars. You like to collect guitars. So actually,
Yeah.
how many you have?
I think I probably have maybe 40 guitars.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Are they like really expensive ones?
They weren't expensive when I started collecting them. The one I used was $100, $100. When I used with the Stray Cats. So I bought a lot of them when they were very inexpensive. But now the vintage guitar market is very, it's crazy. And the cars, my hobby is to build them, you know, so try and find them cheap and fix them up.
So do you have like many cars?
I only have old cars. I don't have any new cars. I have two old Cadillacs and almost 4 hot rods, 3.5.
This is released right now, new music. So
Well, let's talk about that car first.
yeah, what is it?
That's a car I built. It's a 1932 Ford. And I built that and painted it, put the flames on it. And there's music inside. Let's see what the music. Oh, it's your standard CD. And I think what makes this CD different is that it's kind of rockabilly with some. The lyrics are a little more modern, a little maybe not. You know, rockabilly's known for just singing about cars and girls. You know, like rock and roll is. You know, but some of these are a little more personal. These lyrics. So. But it's still based on rockabilly music.
This cat is on a hot tin roof, drinking that whiskey, 96 proof. Going to the doctor, pumping up pain. Next just 2 steps out of my brain. This cat is on a hot tin roof. This cat.
You're putting a new album out after like 25 years. Is it still like exciting to put out new music?
It's exciting. I mean, it was pretty wild to have your first record come out, you know, when you heard it on the radio and it came out. And, I remember the first time I heard Runaway Boys, I was driving and I didn't want to go through the overpass because you know, it breaks out the signal. So I pulled over so I could hear it, you know. That's one of the most exciting times I ever had hearing the song. But it still is exciting because you're still coming up with new ideas and turning new people onto your music, and it's really your life. It becomes your whole life. So it still is pretty exciting to do it.
If you think about like best moments in your whole career musically, what are they?
Well, one of the best moments, like I told you, was hearing my song on the radio for the first time, and also. When I remember, you know, living in England and seeing Runaway Boys hit the top 10, that was a big deal. And when I went back to the States, we played the US Festival to 1 million people. We didn't have anything up there. Jim's drums never came back from England, you know, so he had a snare drum on a table. And I had my guitar, and Lee had a stand-up bass. And we just looked out and laughed. There's 1 million people out there. And we were talking about Finland the other day. One of the first experiences I had was coming in to the airport, and we got picked up in an old Cadillac, and the guy crashed the Cadillac into a pole. We're like, oh no, you crashed the Cadillac. And he felt so bad. And then we get to the airport, and there were people waiting there, and they had like, you know, police holding back the people, and we get into the hotel and people are banging on the window, you know, and it felt like, you know, we were the Beatles or something, and we were just laughing. We couldn't believe it, you know.
And like you said, you got your first gold record from Finland.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it with me because I wanted to show it at Tavasti. I wanted to hold it up.
Yeah.
But I guess it would have broke, you know, because glass and all that. But my first gold record is from Finland, 1981. Yeah.
Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Well, Big Buffalo, she's my baby. Big Buffalo, summertime blues. Yeah, it's something else, man, you can't lose. I'm gonna race with the devil, now maybe I'll win. Now come on, everybody, let's get together tonight. Say, mama, can I go out tonight? I sure miss you and the 20 flight rock.